Welcome in. It is Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to everyone from Sports Idiot Nation, except to the creator of Paw Patrol. We'll tell you why. Also, we'll go over our favorite Christmas memories and some interesting facts about Mario 2 that you may not know.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots.
This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. Welcome back, sinners. This is Season 2 of Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome into a very Christmassy Sports Idiot Nation as we welcome in from the NES page nearly 200,000 followers on Facebook alone, Mr. Jeff Thomas, sporting the stocking cap, and we have Santa, Sin Claus, I guess.
Santa,
Mr. T.I.
Santa idiot. Santa idiot works just fine, you know.
Okay.
Sorry,
Solid,
Santa.
solid.
Sorry, Santa. I still want some presents. But
So I want to talk about, you guys have kids, so we'll find out what you guys are doing for Christmas tomorrow. But Jeff, want to check in with you, Raleigh Retro Gamers. Tell us a little bit more about how that went this year and what you're excited about for 2026. As guys, it's only a week away from 2026. Wild.
crazy.
We're almost there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, super excited to jump into next year. This year we went all out. We had our first major convention. We did the Game Geek Expo in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina at the Raleigh Convention Center. We took over 130,000 square feet and we did everything. We had celebrities. We had gaming tournaments, esports. We had arcades. We had panels. People from Epic Games were there to talk to our attendees. We did so much fun stuff. We had cosplay and just it was just a great time out in Raleigh with our community, and we're excited for 2026 to bring back GGE for GGE 2026. We don't have a date yet, but we're looking toward the latter part of 2026, and we're hoping to go even bigger this year.
Yeah, awesome. I think we can make a
You hear that,
pilgrimage,
Adam?
Ti.
I was gonna say, you hear that, Adam? We gotta get our shit together. We gotta record an episode there.
No, we're going to bring you guys out. That's something that I wanted to do this past year and we actually had a couple people that we were talking to do that, to bring them there. They had their own podcast set up live and just do, some recording and some live footage there at the event. And we did actually have a couple that ended up doing it. It was more of something that they did on their own that we weren't a part of. But yeah, I'd love to have you guys there and just be a part of the action and get some, we can bring some of the celebrities in, we can bring some of the special guests, and then, you can talk to attendees and just get a vibe of the whole event.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. We could go live all day. Do all kind of crazy stuff,
And through Gamer Idiot Nation, Ti, talk about Gamer Idiot Nation a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, fully inspired by our guest here, Jeff.
Absolutely.
I mean, like I said, I love what he does. I long before I started the podcast or met you, Adam, I was always kind of following Jeff's stuff, just admiring what he did. I kind of always felt like he was tugging on my heartstrings, all his posts, because it's like, oh man, I relate to everything. And then not only that, he does it from such a comedic take. It reminded me so much of what I was doing. So naturally, I was a big fan. And then, back during COVID, when I kind of was like, we all were looking for something to do, I had started a Instagram account called 8-Bit Monday, and I was just always sharing stuff from comic books to action figures and games. And that was before I put two and two together, and I was already following Jeff there, which was funny, and so yeah, Gamer Idiot Nation is still in its infantile stages. We're obviously trying to build that, but right now I'm just trying to build the base, and then my goal is to kind of hit it from the same angle that Jeff does. Just kind of bring the Titans Idiot Nation and Sports Idiot Nation humor. Make it tangible for folks, make it relatable. And that's where it is. And full inspiration there by Jeff for sure. But got a long way to go to catch up to his 200,000. But
we're not even trying.
We're getting there. We're getting there. It'll take
you just gotta build it. We already built the online following, but doing some in-person stuff and really tapping into your community and your home base there in Tennessee would be huge.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, Jeff, I want to ask you, the first Christmas memory regarding video games in general. What was that for you?
So I knew you would probably ask me something like that, being it's Christmas Eve, and I will have to say the Super Mario Brothers 2.
Okay.
I got this for Christmas in, I believe it was 1988.
I was going to say, what year was that? Okay, 88.
I believe it was 88 when it came out. It came out in October of that year. My birthday is actually that same month, and I was really wanting it for my birthday, and I didn't get it. But the reason for that is I ended up getting some other things that I really wanted, and I didn't know it at the time, but my parents were planning to surprise me for Christmas with Super Mario Brothers 2, which, if you didn't live through that era, I don't think you realize just how big that game dropping or that game coming out. We weren't saying that. We weren't saying dropping back then. But when that game, like, there was just this build up to it. And I'll never forget the one of the, I opened it that morning. There's actually a clip. I have a clip. We'll have to share it. It's on my Instagram, but the clip of the moment I opened it. But one of the things that really stood out was just how thick the manual was. It was like this huge, thick manual, and you just going through it and just seeing all the different characters that weren't in the original Super Mario Brothers was just amazing. And I went absolutely crazy when I opened it. And of course, my dad loved to put stuff in different boxes, so I didn't know what it was. So I began opening a big box, and then it became smaller boxes because he didn't want me to know that it was a Nintendo game. So
that's awesome.
one of my probably top 5 gifts ever for Christmas as a kid.
Back in the day at Christmas, it was like, if they didn't put it in another box, you knew exactly what it was. You're like, oh, that's a Nintendo game. Yeah, that's a Ninja Turtle. That's a Nintendo game. It's obvious.
They would try to trick you out too, because like my parents were like this. They would let me open one gift on Christmas Eve. So like tonight, we'll probably let my son, open something. But you would go for like the big one, or you go for the one that you thought was a Nintendo game, and then they'd have like colored pencils or something. It'd be in a box that's looks like a Nintendo or something. So we were like, they got us.
Yeah, so you mentioned Super Mario 2. The part that your parents probably left out was about the 100 different stores they had to go to try to find it, and all that year, because it was so crazy. The lines. I mean, you're right. The Super Mario 2 craze was just insane. And you and I both share the same sentiment of it being our favorite Mario game on the NES. I know you ruffle a lot of feathers on your page a lot, kind of trolling them a little bit, because people think just because you have an admiration for Super Mario 2 that you don't like Super Mario 3, which, like, we all love Super Mario 3. But there's just something about Super Mario 2. There's just something special about the game, So that's what a cool gift to receive on Christmas. I can't remember if I got mine on Christmas or not. I feel like I got Zelda 2 and Super Mario 2 around the same time, but I just don't recall exactly when it was, But both of those games, like, they were just life-changing. Although, Zelda 2 kind of let a lot of folks down, angered some people. Definitely angered me a little bit. I still liked it, but I was just so wanting some more, top-down dungeon crawling. And then I got that side scroller, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And it was so damn hard.
Freaked you out.
Yeah, it was just so damn hard. But yes, there's something special about Mario 2. Just the graphics, just everything, the gameplay, the potions, just Wart in general. The villains were great. just first time I saw Birdo, I'm like, what is, or Birdie? I think it's Birdie. I always called it Birdo, but I think later in life it became Birdie. I don't remember. There's like a
I
weird
always said
switch at some
Birdo
point
as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Whenever I
But-
see Shy Guy, that's one of the
Mhm.
characters that really stand out, and it just immediately zaps me back to being a kid when I see him walking around, or see him somewhere.
Yeah, fantastic character for sure.
I knew we
Yeah.
would talk Mario 2, so I have some cool info that you may or may not be aware, and I don't mean you two. I mean our 11 viewers. They may not know this. So Mario 2, you mentioned 88. It was October of 1988, and originally, basically in the U.S., we told Japan that it was too tough. So they originally released in 1986, and we told them you have to go back and try something else. And so a different game that was called I'm not going to pronounce it right, but
It's Doki Doki Panic.
yeah,
It's
Yumi
the
Kojo.
never-ending meme. The never-ending meme.
Yumi Kojo Doki Doki Panic replaced the characters with Mario characters and released it as Mario 2. And what's really cool is, and when you think about it, there's a lot of people that don't know this, and when you think about it, it makes sense. But the whole thing is a dream sequence that I think is lost on a lot of people. And it totally makes sense when you think about the potions and like going into different spots and how you fall at the very, very beginning and how you can go backwards, which that blew my mind playing that. Like Mario 1, I would hit a flower and go a little bit too far, and then oh man, now
Can't go back.
I can't go back. But here you could like go all the way back. It was just amazing with the vegetables and objects and doors and subspace and the health system. That was incredible. No instant death. Like all of that stuff was just huge change from Mario 1, and it just blew our mind. Even remember the colors were just so vibrant in comparison to Mario 1. The whatever world you want to say gave the most color in Mario 1, the darkest shade in Mario 2 eclipsed whatever that was in Mario 1. Like, just the colors and everything was just incredible. And I didn't get it for Christmas, but I definitely had all the Marios and played them evenly. I it was just crazy.
Yeah, I remember the first time I beat Mario 2, that hole, and he shows him sleeping, and you're like, "What? Hold on,
Yeah.
what just happened?"
Yeah, he's
it's
dreaming.
It was like a M. Night Shyamalan movie or something. I'm like, wait
Yeah,
a second,
And you could choose
There's no time limit.
Yeah, you could choose different characters too, right?
Yeah.
And they all had different abilities.
Yeah, the
that
hang
was
time. Princess with the
amazing.
hang time, man. More
Hang
than
time,
Jordan.
baby.
More than Michael Jordan.
She's the Jordan.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, bro.
Yeah.
And Toad, man, if you got to pick up a lot of vegetables, you got to get Toad, man, because he's like
Dunk, dunk,
he's pulling them up,
Yeah.
like because some of the you get that's how you're getting your extra lives and stuff, and you got to pull them up really fast. So
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the Doki Doki Panic, because that's like an ongoing joke amongst NES collectors, because it's the people that want to hate on Mario 2 like to always say, well, it's not even a Mario game, and it's just like, well, guess what? It's got Mario characters in it, and it says Super Mario Brothers 2 on it, so
Yeah, like don't know
It
what to
is-
tell you.
it is a Mario
But
game.
they have,
right?
but they have a point. If you're an
but,
enthusiast
I
and you know the
mean,
story, like,
but I think Jeff probably knows the clarity on it, but I think it was I think they originally created the game for some kind of ceremony over there, some kind of event, television event or something, and the game was supposed to be like a special in tribute with that, and then so they had the game, and basically, like you said, they created the Mario 2 that was so hard as hell that they sent it over, and Howard and everybody at Nintendo in America were like, yeah, this game's too hard for kids.
Yeah,
They're not gonna like it,
It was difficult, but it was also the exact same game, right? So it looked like it was too similar. So the original, when there was another programmer, and I'm blanking on his name, but Miyamoto was actually overseeing the team that originally built the engine for Super Mario Brothers 2, Doki Doki Panic, whatever you want to call it, because they were exploring the scrolling, the being able to go up and down as something that they weren't doing in Super Mario Brothers 1, and it ended up getting scrapped. And then they made it into Doki Doki Panic. And then after that, that's when they came back and said, hey, well, we have this new game. It has all these different mechanics. And they reskinned it from there. I mean, but they also changed other things of the game. It wasn't just the sprites that got a makeover. There was other things that they changed that were different from Doki Doki Panic. But that's a part of the story that gets that doesn't get told as much. As everyone goes, oh, it wasn't a Mario game. It was they made Doki Doki Panic, and then they turned it into a Mario game. No, they initially were trying the new engine for I won't say Super Mario Brothers 2 in particular, but for a new Mario game, it got shelved, and then it later turned into Doki Doki Panic. And then from there is when they came back and said, hey, well, we do have this game, Doki Doki Panic. It has all these other things that we really liked early on. Let's use this for Super Mario Brothers 2. So when someone says, "Oh, it's just a reskin of Doki Doki Panic," no, it was a cutting edge thing that they were working on, that Miyamoto's team was working on beforehand. It wasn't originally supposed to be Doki Doki Panic. So that there's a little bit of a clarity on the origin of it. But yeah, either way, what we got as kids was Super Mario Brothers 2, and it looked like this, and it was freaking awesome. Yeah. So, of course, the internet came out. We all grew up, and now we want to argue about it online every time the subject comes up. But at the end of the day, Super Mario Brothers 2, for me, is still the most nostalgic Mario game out of the trilogy. I love all three of them. Super Mario Brothers 3, hands down, one of the greatest games of all time, especially of our generation. I love that one too. But Super Mario Brothers 2,
Wizard, the movie.
Oh yeah, the Wizard, the reveal from that,
dude, just unreal.
It has its own lore, like Super Mario Brothers 2. But just from a nostalgia standpoint, like I said, I was an 8-year-old kid when that came out, and I think if you were in that window of 3 or 4 years there, that Super Mario Brothers 2 release was just so huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I was right there with you. T.I., what about you as far as opening gifts on Christmas and boom, it's a video game? When you think back, what comes to mind?
Well, I mean, it kind of got twofold for me. One, I got my system for Christmas. My parents, I think I've kind of said before, my parents divorced when I was real young. And I remember Christmas, I want to say it was 87. I don't remember. I mean, Jeff, I think you and I have talked about this. When was it available in North America, like around December? Was that 86 or was it 87? Because I think it was only in New York for a while.
The Nintendo itself, the entertainment system?
Yeah, like when was it fully available across North America? I mean, I know it was test markets in New York.
The first ones hit in October of 1985 in New York only.
Okay, gotcha.
And then after New York, they did test markets in San Francisco, Chicago, LA, early 86, and then by the end of 86, it was a nationwide release.
When did you get yours then?
So I got mine in 87. Okay. For Christmas of 87, and I got
was that the Duck Hunt, the package?
No, or... I got the pack-in control deck that came with Super Mario Brothers. So it was just the control deck. So you didn't get the Zapper, you didn't get the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt game. You actually got a Super Mario Brothers game. So that was an early release. I mean, it was really. I want to say, and I might be wrong. I might be wrong here, but I want to say the action set came out after that one, and that was the one that included the Zapper, included the Duck Hunt Super Mario combo.
So that's what I got, and mine was the orange Zapper. So they had the gray Zapper.
The gray Zapper was first, and then they came out with the orange one shortly thereafter, because not just Nintendo, but the toy industry in general. If you've ever heard of Enertech water guns, those kids were, getting, shot because cops were thinking that kids were running around with actual, Uzis,
So
but they were water guns.
orange.
Yeah. So that was before the whole, it needs to be orange. So police and
that was
others know.
that was the first system. It came with Mario Duck Hunt. I had the orange gun, and the way that I got it was like pretty smart move on my parents' part, because on accident, I still take this to my grave. I was not actively looking for presents, but on accident I did find a Nintendo that was not wrapped, and in the month of December, and I'm thinking, I just struck the mother load of gifts, of like finding a gift, of like, oh my gosh. And the first thing I did was, my neighbors across the street playing with their kids, I told their dad, hey, guess what? I think I'm getting a Nintendo for Christmas. And so he did the smart move, and was a tattletale, told my parents, and my parents played it off on Christmas Day with some friends of ours that came over, and they offered the present to him. He opens it up, and sure enough, it's the Nintendo. And I'm like heartbroken, like, are you kidding? They bought it for him? And then he looks at it and goes, I don't want it. Here, Adam, you take it. That's how they got me with it. So, I mean, obviously, the next, 100 hours were spent like
That's
playing
hilarious.
Nintendo. But
well,
that was wild.
have you guys heard of it's now a movie, but before it was a movie, it was called 8-Bit Christmas. It was a book. And I had the book for years before, when the book first came out. And now it's a movie that's out every year, and it's basically a Christmas story, but of our generation. Instead of a Red Ryder, the kid wants a Nintendo. And it kind of shows that progression of like that was just the big toy everybody wanted for Christmas that year. And Neil Patrick Harris is in that movie now. And after reading the book, like, I didn't know what to expect, and everyone always says, oh, the book was better, but it's starting to grow on me more. I feel like they could have put more nostalgia in the movie, but it's still something that is cool that it exists now, to kind of show that that every kid was thinking about Nintendo one of those years, especially in the late 80s into the early 90s for Christmas.
Yeah, I like that movie. You're right though. I wanted it more. I wanted more from it, but I still enjoyed it. I like the kid in the neighborhood that everybody thought was a dick, but he had all the cool stuff, And it's like the Power Glove,
You see the meme all the time, right? With the kid that's got the Power Glove, and he's got all the accessories and stuff that he's wearing, and you see it all the time in gaming circles, especially retro gaming circles. But yeah, that's the kid I think about when I see the kid on the movie that has everything, and he's like, letting certain kids come in to check it out.
Are you on the list?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like the original. Can I get in? And he's like, "What are you bringing me? What are you offering me?"
Old. Yeah, I got Ritz Bits with peanut butter. All right, those just came out. All right, remember when those came out? You're like, whoa.
Kids are like stealing their mom's jewelry to give to this kid.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Adam, before I lost connection there, I was kind of telling the story. I'll kind of revisit it real quick. But yeah, so for Christmas with, the first time I got my Nintendo, I used to go, when my parents split up young, I would go to my grandmother's house on Fridays. My grandmother and my dad lived together. They would always take me to the local arcades, bar, little seedy bars, places I had no business being, but and I used to play Super Mario Brothers on the Versus machine. I think it was the one that was like next to Duck Hunt. They had the catty corner back to back, and man, it was just, I was always playing it. I get all these people crowd around watching because this little kid is sitting here playing the game, and it was just really fun. But so for Christmas, I'm open up all my presents. Everything's great. I'm playing with games, stuff grandmother and grandfather had sent, things like that. And then my dad shows up on Christmas morning. You know, having your parents, you know, are split up. You know, they're gonna always try to one up each other. You know, and he rolled in with the Nintendo, man. You know, I opened it up and I was just like, felt like it was like Pulp Fiction. You know, when they opened the briefcase, just like, whoa,
We happy?
and yeah, we happy. And it was obviously, you know, the one that came with Mario, and it wasn't the duel, because, you know, that was before they started doing the duel with Duck Hunt, but it was just Mario by itself. And then the one game that I had, so that I cite this as my first official game outside of Mario, was Ice Climber. And still to this day is one of my favorite games to play. It's very simple, it's very laid back, but it's just so nostalgic for me. And so that was my best memory of Christmas when it comes to Nintendo or video games. But I think the game that I went nuts for on Christmas that I opened one year was TMNT II, the arcade game on NES.
Oh,
that fully dropped, because I was, you know, I've said before, my aunt used to run she managed an arcade and bar out in Madison, Tennessee, and I used to go there in the summer with my grandmother, and she would just give me roll quarters from the cash register just to keep chucking back in the games, and I'd stay there for hours. And I remember rolling in one day, and my cousin and I, and she was like, "Hey, we got a new game in today. Y'all are probably gonna like." And behold, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We're like, "Holy shit!"
Say your prayers, Turtles.
Yeah. So the minute that went to home consoles, that was just a huge like game changer for all of us, you know, because it was like, oh, now we can really play the arcade games at home. And granted, it wasn't near the quality, but it didn't matter. We didn't care. I mean, it was
Co-op
amazing.
was just huge back in those days.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You know,
we didn't have that many games. I mean, you know, Contra. You had your games that you could play with your buddies, but like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was just like the bomb. It's like, because we all remembered the arcade, really. You know, it's like, and that's why the arcade is like so popular, and you see everyone wanting to get that game, because it was just such an awesome game. And it was such a great step up from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that probably haunts most of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the waterboard still, oh man. Just using the bombs.
The dam, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was bad.
Yeah, pretty much the whole game.
Just honestly,
I think we all remember the dam, but yeah, it was hard it was hard the whole way through.
Yeah, and the random villains that have nothing to do with anything. Like, okay, cool, we got just some random stuff here, you know. I mean, of course, you got, you know, Bebop and Rocksteady and Technodrome and Shredder and all that.
Yeah.
But just the random, you know, board baddies that are running around. You know, you're like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
You know, But still, I mean, you know, I remember the first time I saw the commercial for that original Ninja Turtles. I was like, whoa, Ninja Turtles on Nintendo? Holy shit. And then you get the game and you're like, ooh, what is this?
Yeah. I'm going back to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
I will say, aside from games, I did have something that I pulled out, and I do have a video, and I think it ended up getting messed up as I was trying to pull video from an old VHS tape and get it digitized myself. But I got a Game and Watch, a Zelda Game and Watch. I think it might have been the year before. I think I might have got this in. It says 89. Okay, so it was the year. It was maybe 2 years after I got my NES, or the year after I got Super Mario Brothers 2. But this watch was like so cool. It's like you can actually play Nintendo at school, like wearing a watch, right? Yeah. Like we had the what was it, the calculator watches where, you know, putting boobs in on it, but like this was like the next best thing, right? It was like, oh man, I can actually be like sitting in class and play some Nintendo on my watch, you know.
Yeah, before Yu-Gi-Oh!
That
and all
is
those or whatever.
That's a prime piece of the collection right there. That's nice. I've got the Donkey Kong one, but that's the only one I had, and I don't have the package or anything. I've just got the watch, you know. I was able to stumble across it at one of my local shops, The Great Escape, a couple years ago, and I was just like, man, if I walk out of here without buying this, I'm going to be so mad at myself. So I've still got that, but man, I remember those, and the little handheld flip ones too, like the original Game & Watch. I think I had Donkey Kong Jr. I think it was orange. I feel like it was Donkey Kong Jr. I don't know, but those were super cool too. Those were ahead of the time.
Well, I was going to segue after that was the these handhelds. So these were after the Game & Watch,
Football.
but like,
oh yeah,
I had Double Dragon. I opened this, and I want to say this was maybe 88. Yeah, this is 88.
Baseball. I've had baseball too.
I actually got up that morning, and so I'm from North Carolina. I don't know if this was a North Carolina thing or not, but and I know some people do it differently. But for Christmas, Santa, we would get presents that were from Santa that were just unopened, and not all of them. Like some of the presents would be wrapped from Santa, and then all the gifts from like my parents and others are wrapped. But like there was always a handful of stuff that was just sitting out that Santa just left. So that morning, I went out and to buy the Christmas tree, and Double Dragon was sitting there, and my parents weren't up yet. No one was up. It was probably 4:00 in the morning, and
Right.
I got it. Went back in my room, under the covers, like opening the, getting it out of the plastic, and put batteries in that thing. And then it was, I don't know if you've had one of these, but if you put batteries in it and you turn it on, it makes noise right away. Like
so loud. Yeah,
like,
so loud.
I was like, shut up. Stop. My parents,
4 a.m. Yeah.
they're gonna be so mad. They're gonna be like,
They're
you're in there
gonna cancel
opening
Christmas.
presents.
They're gonna cancel it.
But it was already open, so I didn't have to open anything, because like some of the Santa would leave some stuff out, so when you walk into the room, you see it immediately.
See, I've never heard of that. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I once put something on the NES page, or it might have been my TikTok page years ago, and I was like, and it was the amount of people that were like, why are you not rapping? Why are not all of your parents must have been lazy? I'm like, no, dude, it was
no, that's part of it.
The part of it was to see it when you walk in the room, and just, it's not all your presents, it's just some of the presents, right? Just some of the little things here and there are already sitting out, so you see it immediately, and you're just like, oh my god, and then you open other presents, right? I mean, we still had a ton of presents to open, that were wrapped, but my parents always set some stuff out that was unwrapped. So, but it was like 50-50 in the comments. People were like, my parents did the same thing. So,
yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't familiar with that until I started dating my my future wife, obviously, and we had a kid. And she's like, no, we gotta put these things together, and they've got to be out, And I'm like, hold up, do what, And she's like, yeah, that's the Santa presents. Like the presents from us are wrapped. The presents from Santa come unwrapped, and it's part of the whole shebang there. It's like, well, hey, if the elves are making the toys, they don't have time to wrap them and all that. And it totally blew my mind. And I was like, well, I don't want to stay up till 4 a.m. putting a 3-story Paw Patrol tower together, while I'm halfway sloshed off whiskey. Like, that's not what I want to be doing right now. I mean, obviously not now, because my kiddo's 10, but back when he was in his Paw Patrol days, man, we got the whole giant Paw Patrol tower for him, and I'm just like thinking we're about to go to bed. My wife's like, no, you got to put that thing together. I'm like, what? Trying to get the elevator to work, and I'm just cutting my fingers open and stuff, and I'm just like cussing, I'm like,
well, for something like that, my parents wouldn't open that, because it would obviously come in a box. Like, it would be in the box, right? It's just not wrapped. For something like that. Now, some stuff we would have to put together. Like, I've definitely put together, some stuff that it's like, well, it's like a trampoline, for instance, one year, like a small one, that was, my wife's like, well, he can't walk out there and just see the trampoline in a box. That's not going to be, it's not going to be, huge. So you got to put it together. And oh my God. And I think that was like a little 6-foot one when he was, 3. But
yeah.
But you're right. You're out there in the middle of the night for like 3 hours trying to put the thing together.
Oh man, I was so angry. I was like, "Fuck Paw Patrol, man." It's like Ryder and these fucking dogs. Why is he responsible for all these dogs? Where's Ryder's parents at, by the way? You know, I was always, my wife was like, stop trying to figure out the Paw Patrol backstory. Just finish screwing that shit together, you know?
So we can go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, something for like new age, and Ti, I know you're a collector as well. Do you have any of the 8-bit Christmas?
I'm very familiar with them, but I don't have one of them. I've always wanted to get one, but I don't. I know they do a new one every year, right?
This was the last year to get one, and that's why
wow.
I thought to mention it. So apparently, I think he's been doing it now for 18 years. Retro USB. So for those that don't know, he creates these playable NES cartridges. You put it in your NES. It's better with a top loader because the actual cartridge lights up.
I was gonna say it glows.
It has like flashing like Christmas lights on it, so it looks really good in a top loader. I recently reshelled one of my NESs in the game room with a clear a translucent case, so it actually looks cool in there. But and it's just usually a mini game or something like that. But on this one, he actually included all of the songs that he had put on every other game. So I don't think they're available. I think the last time a week or so ago I checked, they're sold out. But it's just a cool thing for, now that, they didn't have this when we were kids, but just something fun for around Christmas time that collectors and people that just want to have something different, as adults, as big kids that want to have something different around Christmas, something cool that I didn't buy all of them, or I didn't buy one every year, but I would pick them up every now and then if it looked cool. So, but this year was the last one he did it, so I grabbed it.
Damn, man, yeah. I wish I would get one. I'm definitely behind there. But speaking of Christmas and NES, I have a buddy of mine. He tells me every year, he's like, every Christmas you should rewrap your CIB Nintendo and open it every Christmas, and like video yourself open it every Christmas. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty hilarious idea,
Right.
I did back when I first started, when I got on Instagram in 2018 is when I started putting like my collection on Instagram, and I think I did like a recreation photo of, because my parents still live in the same house that I grew up in, which is really cool, and they still had the same big area rug in the living room that we had when I was a kid. So I was able to go and put my Nintendo that I got. Me and Ti, me and you got the same one, because I got the one with the Super Mario Brothers cartridge before they came out with the action set. It was a control deck, but it came with Super Mario Brothers, which was cool because it actually came with Super Mario Brothers like complete in box, like an actual. Yeah. They didn't do that for the the Duck Hunt. Super Mario Brothers was just a loose cartridge, but anyway, I did a side by side of like me as a kid and opening it, and then me as like a 30-something-year-old man opening it with the same the wallpapers or the some of the scenery has changed, but it's the carpet was the same and the house is the same, and I recreated that photo. But
that is wild. Well, Jeff, we gotta have you back on to talk more Raleigh Retro Gamers. When you find a date, let's talk more about getting us out there and doing some stuff. Thanks for hanging out. Remember, guys, tomorrow is a lot of football and basketball, which, remember, LeBron says they own Christmas, which is the biggest joke of all time. If you have to pick football or basketball to watch on like Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, it's going to be football 100 times out of like 99. And LeBron's like, we still own Christmas. Yeah, okay, bro. That's cool. Cool story. The Lakers do play, but no, we're not watching. We got a full slate of other games. But I like both. I'll be watching both. I'm going to pig out with the family and watch all the games. Reminder, Sports Idiot Nation comes to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Merry Christmas, and we will see you Friday. Thank you for watching this episode of Sports Idiot Nation. Remember, we are on all social media and on YouTube, and the podcast can be found on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Remember, new episodes are every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And remember, because you watch Sports Idiot Nation,
you would be the smartest idiot in the whole world.